Madness in Hamlet by Ekaterina Baythorn, with visual support extracted from 2009 motion picture Hamlet, directed by Gregory Doran, starring David Tennant, Patrick Stewart, and others. BBC, United Kingdom. William Shakespeare's play Hamlet is the most performed production in English. It is also one of the most studied masterpieces in the world. Yet, for so many, a lot of questions in the play remain a mystery. One of those, is Hamlet really mad? To try to answer this question, let's take a look at the definition of madness suggested by psychology today. Madness is a mental illness of such severe nature that the person cannot distinguish fantasy from reality, cannot conduct his or her affair due to psychosis, or is subject to uncontrollable impulsive behavior. When the audience first meets Hamlet, we understand that the Prince of Denmark is suffering from depression and melancholia due to his father's death. Though Hamlet is troubled, we can't conclude that he's insane, because mourning the loss of a parent is normal. His mother Gertrude marries his uncle Claudius, who becomes the king of Denmark. The new ruler tells Hamlet that he should stop grieving, accept him as his new father, and move on with his life. But Hamlet sees his father's ghost, who informs him that his brother Claudius murdered him, and asks him to avenge his death. Young Prince is completely lost and doesn't know whether to believe a vision or not.
Look, my lord, it comes! Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Be with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape.
Hamlet decides to find out if the ghost is right, and mentions to his friends that he would act insane to make Claudius reveal the truth.
That I dreamt of in our philosophy. But come, here as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange are odds, so I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times seeing me never shall with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase as well we know, or we could, and if we would, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. There's not to do. So, grace and mercy at your most need. Help you swear!
From these words, we realize that Hamlet is logical, intellectual, and determined. Even though there are a lot of conflicts in his mind, to be or not to be, to kill or not to kill, to believe or not to believe, they are caused by the absence of clarity in the situation that he's in, and lack of any Stoic beliefs. The first person who distrusts Hamlet's madness is Polonius, who states that there is method in his madness. While Danish prince is preoccupied with watching Claudius, Ophelia, who was hoping to become Hamlet's wife, is very distressed because her fiancé is acting very strangely, and even tells her to get herself in the nunnery. Ophelia is so worried about Hamlet's behavior that the audience gets an impression that Hamlet and Ophelia's relationships might have gone further than just platonic adoration.
Quite down. And I, of ladies most dejected and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
In his obsession with revenge, Hamlet forgot about all the sweet promises he made to Ophelia. He lost all the interest for her. His decision of abandoning her will lead to one of the first tragedies in the play, Ophelia's madness and then suicide. King Claudius remarks that Hamlet decided to forget about Ophelia not because of his madness, but because he is incapable of deep feelings.
Love, his affections do not that way tend. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits unbrewed, and I do think the hatch and the disclose will be some danger.
Hamlet stages a mock play, mimicking his father's murder, to see Claudius's reaction, and to his content, the king walks out at the end of the play, confirming Hamlet's suspicions. The Danish prince wants to end Claudius's life, but sees him praying and decides not to kill him during his plea to God because he's afraid that Claudius would go to heaven. Once again, we see that Hamlet is making logical decisions based on his conclusions. Instead, the prince decides to have a conversation with Queen Gertrude, where we see another agony that's destroying the character, his ambiguous feelings towards his mother. He accuses her of being unfaithful, lustful, and sinful.
Want to live in the red sweat of an ensheaving bed, stewed interruption, honeying and making love over the nasty stuff.
During the heated conversation, Hamlet stabs Polonius, who was hiding behind the curtain, thinking that he was Claudius. Hamlet sees his father's ghost, and Gertrude decides that her son gone insane. But the prince states that he is as sharp as ever and rather mad in craft.
Ecstasy. My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have had to bring it to the test. Either matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul.
By this point in the play, Hamlet demonstrates that he is a highly conflicted person who struggles to decide what he needs to do, what human life is worth, and what the meaning of his life is. When he kills Polonius, he doesn't feel bad, but instead orates that his life doesn't have any value. You low life, nosy, busybody fool, goodbye. The main character challenges the views of society and concludes that a human being is nothing but an important speck in the vast ocean.
What a piece of work is a man. Unknoble in reason, but infinite in faculty. In form, in moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world. The paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this? Quintessence of dust. Man delights not me.
In this speech, Hamlet contradicts himself. On one hand, he acknowledges the magnificence of an individual, But on the other, he states that human life does not seem important to him. And this is not the only place where we see the Danish prince opposing his own statements. Even though Hamlet claims to be a believer, quote, God willing shall not lack, unquote, quote, God has given you one face, unquote, quote, O God, your only jig maker, unquote. He chooses to sin and try to take Claudius's life. So it seems like the main problem in Hamlet is not madness, but lack of ideals, principles, and convictions. By this point, most of the audience would be convinced that Hamlet is not mad. But if somebody has any doubts left, they would probably be gone after the next scene that portrays the madness of Ophelia. After Polonius's death, Ophelia goes insane. It seems like everything is crashing down in her life. Her boyfriend who promised to marry her condemns her, her father dies, and on top of all that, she might be even pregnant.
St. Valentine's Day on in the morning at time, and I made it your window to be a Valentine. Then off he rose and donned his clothes and off the chamber door. Let in the maid, let out a rain, who never departed more. Without no son they can end up. My tears shall burn St. Charity, alack and fine for shame. Young men will do't if they come to it. By cock they are to blame. Well, she before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. So when I had done mine on the sun, thou hadst not come to my bed.
When we see Ophelia's madness, we can understand that she's truly insane. In contrast to Hamlet, she can't make any logical decisions, direct plays, or ponder the questions of life and death. On the contrary, she acts impulsively. In the beginning of the play, Ophelia is very obedient. She's very proper and polite to everybody. But when she goes mad, she spouts what she really thinks.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there is pansies. That's for thought.
The document in madness. Thoughts of remembrance fitted.
Fennel for you. Columbines. There's a rue for you. And here's some for me. We may call it herb grease or Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets. But they withered. All when my father died.
Madness gives Ophelia a chance to speak her mind. She's finally free from other people's opinions and views. When she gives away flowers, she's trying to reach out to the people that she knows. Laertes gets rosemary and pansies, the symbol of remembrance in thoughts. Ophelia tells him that she wants him to remember her when she was still sane. She presents Gertrude with fennel, symbol of flattery and adultery. That gives us a hint that even though Ophelia never told Gertrude that she was resentful about her marriage to Claudius, deep inside she was accusing her. Claudius is given columbine, which symbolizes ingratitude. With this gift, Ophelia was telling him that she has no respect for the weak king. She gives herself and Gertrude rue, which symbolizes sorrow, and she says that nobody will get violets, which symbolize faithfulness. Decisions were made for Ophelia all the way up to the part when she goes mad. Now she finally making her own choices. and the ultimate choice will be to take her own life. In the end of the play, Hamlet dies too. However, this is not his intention. Obsessed with revenge, Laertes, Ophelia's brother, conspires with Claudius, poisons the sword, and stabs Hamlet. Dying, Hamlet not only demonstrates the clarity of mind, but it seems that he finally finds forgiveness in his heart. He tells Laertes that he doesn't blame him for his death. Heaven make thee free of blame. The last line of Danish Prince concerns his country, which proves again that he is in sound mind, and finally lets go of his ego and anger and thinks about the future of his country.
Horatio, I'm dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. No more an antique Roman than a Dane. Is yet some liquor left?
Thou art the man. Give me the cup. Let go.
By heaven, I'll have it!
Good Horatio. What a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Master, your silence.
William Shakespeare is a well-known author who is famed for the beauty of his language as well as portraying deep psychological issues in his plays. We can find the theme of madness in many of his works, but the play Hamlet certainly presents the pinnacle of humans' indecision, search for meaning, and how ill society can push a person on the edge of sanity. The main hero, Hamlet, even though trying to position himself as a madman, is a highly intelligent person. But in contrast to him, his girlfriend Ophelia, who is at first controlled by others, goes truly insane, and later finds her salvation in her madness and death. By opposing two types of insanity, one genuine and one fake, William Shakespeare draws his audience's attention to the flaws of the society and how public views and opinions can ruin a person's life, drive them into madness, and even to death.